Okay people, welcome back to another Fwoosh review. Today we're going to build and then review the Bandai Spirits Toy Story 4 Woody model kit. Now I'm only doing Woody at the moment, at least today. I do have Buzz, and in a perfect world I would build both of these at the same time and then review them together, but whew, that's a lot of building. That's like 5, 6, 7 hours of putting together and decals or decals. So I'm going to build Woody first. We'll take a look at him, articulation, everything, and then come back and build Buzz at a later time in a week or so, hopefully fairly quickly. But like most Bandai model kits, it comes in the standard box. It's a nice presentation here on the front. I especially like amazing and unique part structure for fun assembly. I'm all about fun. There's no glue, there's no painting required, and recommended to use tools. I got one of those. On the end, pretty much the same picture, other end same. Over here, we get some poses, the sprues, the face options, there's Buzz, warnings and readables. On the other side, more promotional shots, poses, different face looks. And then all the details that we've talked about in the build up to this model kit. Let's see what's inside. Have the blue, have the black, have the red, have some decals. It has Andy or Bonnie. Now I haven't seen Toy Story 4 yet. I know Andy, so they give you the option for this to be either Toy Story 4 specific or all the Toy Stories. The yellow sprues, you can see on the shirt that it's actually sculpted in with that grid pattern. Face parts, skin parts, you got the hat, you got the boots, you got the belt, and then the white parts with the vest, and I'm guessing the clear part is a stand. And then there is the instructions. Ooh, I always think, man, I'm just gonna throw this model kit together, and then I realize, oh, there are a lot of parts here. Now, it's been a while since I've done a model kit. I've actually been trying to think of some new format to do it in. I'm setting up a desk and a work area just for model kits to film and maybe do time lapses and all that, but I haven't got to that yet. So if you've seen my model kit reviews before, I'm gonna build this. If I run into any snags or, you know, difficult parts or fun things, I'll record that, but I'm not going to show the whole build, and then we'll talk about the figure afterwards. Okay, you guys know how I have a tendency to rush through the instructions and such, you know, and I may miss a thing or two or three here. And right off the bat, we get into the face plates. We have 3 different ones. We have grinning, we have smirking, and we have kind of surprise. And you put the eyeballs together, there's a brown peg that plugs into the back of the white eyeball, forming the pupil. So I put the eyes together, put them in the face, put the mouths in, put the backer on, did it again, and this is where I realized, oh, wait a second, there's a decal right there. So I went to put it on like that. The problem you run into if you do it the wrong way is the eyeballs move inside the skull. Well, that one's a little bit tight, but you can move them around from the outside. So this thing's trying to run from you while you're trying to put the color of the middle of the eye in there. There's a hole in the back where you can move it around, but the problem I'm running into is one eye is really tight, the other one is kind of loosey-goosey, so I go to move it and it just kind of flops around. And that's just gonna mess with me. Anytime I look at it, I think, is it a little bit crooked? Does it need a little bit more adjusting? Sure it does. Let's adjust it more. But all 3 faces comes with its own set of eyes, so you don't have to switch those out. I was afraid of that when I first started putting it together, but you don't have to pull it all apart to get the eyes in each faceplate. This is the horror of it before you put it together. And if you follow the instructions, you put the decal on the brown part before assembling it into the eyeball itself. That way the iris and everything is centered on that piece. You put it in, you plug it through, and you have an eyeball. I already have the back of the head with the mouth on it and everything, and it has the eyebrows that plug through to give it that brown color for the eyebrows. And there you go, crazy-eyed Woody. But once you get it in position, it looks, oh, well, that one's just falling around, isn't it? Also worth mentioning, one of the white of the eyes has a flat spot on it, and that goes with this eyebrow that's down. But that also locks the eye into just going back and forth. You can't really go up and down because the flat part is pushed against the eyebrow. The other one, not so much. Okay, getting the whole head together with the hair and the face and the neck, there's not any added pressure to the back of the eyeballs. They still like to flop around just a little bit. Or it seems like they get caught in some places, but other places they're just kind of loose. For the torso where it's a cow pattern, the blacks, you can see the shapes on it. And then there's a second layer of white that plugs onto it, goes down over that, and once you have it together, it magically becomes the cow pattern of the vest. And you can still see the seams, but man, it's better than painting that or having decals for each and every black spot, right? And here's the torso all put together. I know, that neck looks weird without a head on it. And this shows the biggest perk of a model kit is that every piece is a separate part. So you're gonna get nice separation between the colors. You're gonna get nice separation between the parts themselves. I mean, the star is a separate piece. It plugs in really nice. It's not going to fall off, so I'm not going to go tearing at it, but just look at it. It looks amazing. Couple things, if you have a gap, I can't quite get rid of that one, but if you get a gap somewhere, just make sure you're lined up and push. There was some snaps here and there, and everything is held together, ooh, very, very nicely. Be careful with this back here. If you try to push, there is some flex to it, and getting it in that hole wasn't the easiest thing in the world. I had to take my fingernail and push at the base. Also, if you're looking for A24, you get to A23, it's right here. There's nothing, this is 15. You have to backtrack all the way down to here, and here's 24. I know you'll eventually find it. I thought I'd help you out a little bit. Okay, the arm, how it's engineered and how it ends up is kind of a cool concept, but I'm running into a couple of snags here and there. Really, the arm is a skeleton piece going down the middle, and then it has sleeve parts that attach to the outside here. My problem is that it's round, so you get it, well, you have to kind of search for the positioning, and you get it plugged on there and it feels secure, and then you take the next piece and put it on where you think it needs to go, and then the third piece, it kind of encloses the sleeve itself. But if you push in any wrong position, you're going to push part of the sleeve off. It's hard to get them all on in the right position at the same time. The cool thing about it, the grid pattern kind of hides the gap until you get one bigger than the actual grid pattern. And then on the bottom part, it's essentially the same thing. You're kind of left to search for the best positioning of it, how it all fits together. You got to kind of rotate it in, you got to kind of push here and there, and then cap it off and hope that it's not left with a lot of gap again. You push here to close this gap, and then the corn separates on the other side. It does kind of hold together once you get the cuff all the way on there. You have to line up that hole, and then a button actually holds it in place. But again, because of the grid pattern, when it does gap, it's not as apparent as it would be on a flat surface. But I'm also gonna wait until I get the whole figure together before judging this part up here, which is just a friction hold on it. It's not a snap-in part. One part of the hole is actually held in by one of the sleeve parts. So if this comes loose and off, you may have some looseness to here. Good thing about it being a model kit, it's a light piece. It's not full-on plastic. It's not heavy enough to pull off by its own weight. The legs, same concept, but it's much easier because it's just two pieces sandwiching together. So there's no guessing at where it goes. It's no manipulating around. It's just two halves. Goes together. And again, we see separation between the different colored parts. The gold looks nice against the brown, the blue. The foot may not be the most posable. It gets nice side to side, not so much forward and back, just because of how the boot runs into the what is that thing called? The spur. I knew he'd come to me. Also, no problem with the crotch whatsoever. It was just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces. Boop. Together. And getting it all together, it was a fun build. It's kind of a fun figure, but man, there's some frustrating stuff going on. Right off the bat, you can't deny that it looks like Woody. In fact, it looks like a great representation of Woody. The sculpted details to the shirt, giving it that grid look, while it's a little bit of depth, but no paint, so it works out in the end. The separations of the vest between black and white, the separate pieces of the belt buckle, the buttons, the badge, the spurs, the boots, just everything being its own separate piece. I say this about model kits all the time. Everything being its own separate piece, it just comes out so crisp and clean. Even the pull string here on the back, which I kind of think this should be a different color maybe? Although they don't show it as a different color in the instructions, what they do show that they don't provide any kind of decal or anything is I guess you have to paint this part. Because on the figure it's just the brown of the holster. I'm not seeing a lot of other different parts like that though, where you have to paint it yourself. It's in the colors it needs to be. And the likeness is even great. I know we're talking about an animated movie and then a plastic toy of a character from that animated movie, but it still looks like Woody. Again, the separation of red, white, skin tone, the white, We're going to have a discussion about the decals for the eyes here in a minute. The hair is a little bit smooth, but again, that's how it was in the movie, so you can't fault Bandai for that. But then we come back to the articulated eyes, and at this point, as long as I've been messing with it, I think I'd prefer just eyes that are static, that just stay where they are. They stay looking straight, because as is, these are hard to manipulate, and on every face, I've got one eye that's really tight, that is hard to move, and then the other one just kind of flops around easily. And this one's so loose that sometimes when I'm messing with the figure, and it's not going to do it on camera because all my toys are divas, that the eye just moves by itself. But if you look real close here, the decal over the brown part of this eye, it's so hard to move this eye that I've moved the decal several times and it's kind of bunched up and it's moved out of position. I am not liking it. You can take the faceplate off and it gives you access to holes in the back of the eyes, but this center bar right here kind of gets in the way of putting anything in there to manipulate it. You can get a toothpick in there and get it around and move it, but man, hell, there's a couple that I can get to go up and down really easily, but then trying to move it side to side, it doesn't want to go that direction. Once you get them lined up, they do look fantastic. I just don't like messing with them for 16 minutes while I'm trying to get the eye straight. Also down at the legs, the hip part popped into the leg where it's not going to come off if you pull on it. Why didn't they do that at the shoulder instead of making it just easily pulled off? Two parts to form the tube of the legs. I wish they had done that to the arms, because moving it around and getting it into poses, you sometimes gap up the parts that form the sleeve here. The ankles are not the most articulated, which really affects his center of balance. You have to get his legs and his hips going on, and once you find it, it's there, but I wish there was some ankles. And then for the waist, they put this ball joint here, and it plugs in up there, but once you get it all the way together, it's just a swivel. There's no forward and back. You can pull the body up a little bit, and that gives you some forward and back and some tilt, but it gaps it up. I don't know if they meant for you to pull it apart and use it like that, but once it's together, it's just this. And then if you overextend the arms, you're also going to pull the shoulder out of here, which is not really a problem with the legs that actually have a little bit of drop down to it. So it's your standard Bandai model kit in places, but it almost seems like they just kind of overlooked a couple of things here and there. There is a ball joint at the top of the neck. You put the head on, you do get very nice tilt. Don't get that great forward and back though. Swivels. The shoulder kind of works as a dumbbell joint with a ball inside the body coming out to a hinge and swivel at the shoulder, so you do get forward and back. You do get you do get up and down when the arm doesn't pop off. It hinges up past 90. See the eye as I've messed with it. Swivel on that shoulder ball. Hinge at the elbow comes up a little past 90. Ball joint at the wrist gets in and out, up and down, swivels. Swivel at the waist. Let's see the eye situation. Drop down hip comes forward all the way. Back all the way. You don't see that a lot in action figures. And then out all the way. If the holster wasn't in the way, in fact, you can, well, rotate it out. There you go. There's swivel at the thigh. Knee comes up to about right there. Swivel down at the ankle. Back just a little bit. Forward just a little bit. And then just a little bit of forward-facing pin. Hey, fellas! For accessories, he comes with 2 fists. He comes with 2 open hands. He comes with 2 thumbs-up hands. And then he comes with 2 pointing fingers. And to switch those out, the ball joint just pulls out easily, and then you just plug in your weapon of choice. He also comes with several face plates. There's the smiling, neutral-looking face. You pull forward on that, that comes off, and then off the face plate, you take the hair. Then to put the next one on, you slip that hair piece on, and then plug the face onto the back of the head. He also comes with a scared face. Again, movable eyes in there. The right is tough to move. Well, I say that, it just moved off. Yep, lost it. But then he also comes with this cocky looking face. And the good thing about this eye, it's got the flat spot on it, so it's not going to wander around. Problem is, from the front, it's a bear to move too. While his other eye, fairly easy to move around. But the scared face and then this face is not near as loose as that first face. And then there is his hat. It's a hard plastic piece, just like we see with the model kits. It's all in one color. The inside has this peg hole. I don't know why, because there's no way of connecting it to his head. It's essentially pick a pose, put the hat on, and hope it stays in place, where a gentle little movement knocks it completely off. It's hard plastic on hard plastic. There's no locking it down. You have to get him there, set it down, and hope for the best. Look, it stayed. But Oh God. They made this front hairpiece a separate piece you switch out with the face plates. They could have added one with a peg here, or peg here, or peg something to go in that peg hole that's on top of the hat. Because as frustrating as the eyes can be, again, to get lined up, the hat is the most frustrating of all. Hey there! Woody stands at 7 inches tall to the top of his head. Here he is compared to 1/12 scale action figures like the Star Wars Black Series Stormtrooper and the Marvel Legends Black Panther. And then here he is with Pete and Gus, simply because I don't have a lot of figures in this style. I don't have any that I know of. So at the end of the day, it's an interesting project. It's a fun build, but I don't know how much I can recommend getting this figure. I've seen toys at Walmart. I don't even know who's producing them, but they're very nice Toy Story 4 toys for Woody, for Buzz, and other characters from that movie. I got this because in promotional shots it looked pretty good, and I thought, hey, I love the model kits. I'll get a Buzz, I'll get a Woody, put them together, and then be done with it. And before I built this, I thought, man, if they make other characters from this, I'll have to get those too to go with these two. But now that I've built this, I don't think I will. Don't get me wrong, it'll look great on the shelf, but the frustration level of the final product, I don't feel like it's worth it. I thought I would like it. I love the model kits, but it looks okay, but I don't want to touch it. And this hat can burn in hell. So I'm not as excited to build Buzz now, but I'm gonna have to because I can't just have Woody standing around. But maybe he'll be fun. Maybe he'll hold together better. Maybe they integrated the articulation better. I don't know. I just know my excitement for this line is dampened a lot by building Woody first. And I hate when that happens. I like having fun. I like enjoying my action figures. It's just not happening this time. So if you enjoyed the review, comment, like, subscribe. I'll catch you on the Fwoosh.